So longtime NBC football reporter Michele Tafoya has recently left the network so she could take on social issues. And I'll just say this, the truth is a lonely avenue. When you're walking in the truth, not many people are going to agree with you. People aren't going to applaud you. People aren't going to be on your side. But that just means you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Because the mob, the woke mob, the sheeps, the groupthink, they're all following each other because they have no confidence and they don't really know what to do. They're just going along with what the government tells them. They're going along with what the schools are teaching them. They don't have a mind of their own to actually think and process information. So Michele Tafoya is going to say some revealing things in this interview with Tucker Carlson. I'm going to let them talk about it, and I'll chime in.
So for a decade, Michele Tafoya was a highly recognizable reporter for NBC Sports. She covered hundreds of NFL games as a sideline reporter, including 5 Super Bowls. She worked at multiple Olympics. Doubtless you've seen some of her interviews over the years. Here's a sampler, including her coverage of the Super Bowl this past Sunday.
Aaron, obviously emotional. What's the immediate feeling you've got right now?
I'm just so happy. I wanted this so bad. I dreamed this, man. I dreamed this, and it's like, it's surreal. Look at this.
Michele Tafoya retiring from sportscasting. Michele, we love you. You have been so much fun, and we'll hear a lot more from her. You and I don't know what the future holds, pal.
This crew was so dope this season. Chris Collinsworth, Al Michaels, Michele Tafoya. They were my favorite group this season as far as watching games and the people covering them. They were the best group this season. Sunday Night Football was amazing this year.
So that was Sunday. This is Wednesday. After nearly 30 years covering sports, Michele Tafoya has decided to step away from NBC Sports. She said she made the decision wholly on her own. She was not forced out. And she's doing it because she wants to be in a role where she can speak openly. There's nothing we're in favor of more than that. We're honored to have Michele Tafoya join us tonight.
And before they go on, I'll just say this. In a lot of ways, she's an American hero because she's actually walking the walk and talking the talk. A lot of these people, they get on social media or they go on these protests or these strikes or whatever they do, and they don't really actually do anything to make real change. They're not putting themselves in a position where they have to sacrifice in order for the betterment of their cause. And I mean, this lady just quit her job. She had a very lucrative and successful career, and she just put that to the side in order to do what she believes is the right thing. So whether you agree with her or not, you just have to respect her morals and principles.
To explain. Michele, first of all, congratulations on this new chapter. What an interesting decision that you made. Why did you make it?
It's been on my mind for quite a while, Tucker. Thank you for having me. And no, NBC did not encourage this. They did not force this. This has been on my mind. I've been waking up every day with a palpable pull at my gut that my side, my view, my middle ground, kind of moderate viewpoint is not being represented to the rest.
And they're going to keep silencing that voice. Excuse me. They're going to keep silencing that voice. They're going to keep pushing it left and left and left as they can take it, because they have big plans for this society and they're not planning on going back. It's only going to keep going more and more. So with that being said, two can't walk unless they're in agreement. And she wasn't in agreement with the belief system of the people around her, her colleagues, and the company and the staff. So she had to do what she had to do, and she had to separate herself from them, because at some point you're just going to butt heads because you disagree on your principles.
The rest of the world, I didn't feel, and so rather than just banging it out on Twitter or Instagram every day, I thought, I've got to do something. I have benefited greatly from the American dream, and I feel like, for the sake of my kids and because I so love this country, I've got to start giving back.
You guys hear that? You hear that, you social justice warriors? You wokety wokes, the woke mob? You guys hear that? The lady said she wasn't just going to bang it out on Twitter or Instagram. She said she was actually going to use her voice and her platform to make a real change in real life, for the sake of her kids, for the sake of her country. That's someone who's actually taking a step to do what they actually believe. Not just one of these people who's just doing this shit to build up their own resume, someone who's doing it to build up their own acclaim. She's actually doing it for an actual cause.
Boy, that is the best possible reason. So, people who watch sports, of course, know you and have for many years. You went on The View recently, which is a slightly different venue for you.
The View is just a bunch of deranged bitches talking all fucking day.
We have just a short clip, and I want to ask if this had some role in your decision. Here it is.
My kids in school, there is a big focus on the color of your skin.
How old are your children?
My children are now 16 and 13.
Okay, in what way?
It's been going on since they were in lower school, all right? And it is that there are affinity groups on campus for... My son's first best friend was a little African-American boy. They were inseparable. Get to a certain age, they start having what's called an affinity group, which means you go for lunch and pizza with people who look like you. Suddenly, my son wasn't hanging out with him anymore. Why are we even teaching that the color of the skin matters? Because to me, what matters is your character. And
they're teaching it so that way you always have to rely on white people. They're teaching it so that way you feel inferior. When they call you a minority, they're saying that they're the majority. They're saying that they're the up, and they're saying that you're the down. And they're implementing that in the minds of so-called minority people so that way they feel like they have to be attached to white people at the hip. They have to be attached to white people at the rib. In particularly black Americans, African Americans, they make it so that you feel like part of your identity is them and that you'll never be free unless they allow you to be free. You can't be free by working hard and creating your own lane. You can't be free by making your own identity for yourself, by being your own person with your own morals and principles. No, it's all based on if the white man will give you a hug, if the white man will allow you to be free, if the white man says you can have this or that. The white man isn't going to give you a position of power because it hurts him monetarily. He's going to keep you down so that way he can stay up. And he's not going to teach you anything good about your past because he wants to keep you down. He's going to teach you the parts about your past that make you feel inferior so that way subconsciously and consciously you're looking up to him and you're looking at him for your way out. They want to keep you in that mind frame. And that's why they teach you certain things in history classes and they don't teach you other things in history classes. That's why they got this damn infinity group at this lady's children's school where they're separating kids by race. Why do they need to separate these kids by their race? For what? What does that do helping us going forward? Doesn't that just insinuate the problem?
your values.
Yes, but you live in the United States. You know that color of skin has been mattering to people.
Can't we change it that it doesn't?
We need.
Well, what do you want to do about that, Whoopi? Whoopi's going to go on and say, we need white people to change it. Well, yeah, I can't subscribe to listening to anybody, taking anybody serious who they think the answer to their problem is getting somebody else to do something for them. No, you have to make the change in your life if you want to improve. If you're waiting on them, like someone like Whoopi Goldberg, they're never going to figure it out because they're waiting on someone else to help them figure it out. She's lost. She's never gonna figure it out. She's too old. She's just gonna go down as someone who's just lost and she's just lost in the sauce. She's part of the woke mob. She's one of the hosts of The View. Like, come on.
White people will step up and do that.
But I think that
What are you gonna step up and do? Nothing. Fucking Whoopi Goldberg.
been doing that since the Civil War, and I'm not saying it's perfect.
No, they haven't.
Wow, that was such a moderate thing to say, such a sensible thing to say, and yet it seemed like such a controversial thing. I thought that was really brave that you said that. What did you think of the reaction?
I'm just astonished that we're so looking in the rearview mirror and not absorbing the progress that we've made in this country and building on it and recognizing it. I don't think a person like Whoopi Goldberg would have had that role 50 years ago. She has...
Exactly. I'm in a position now where, hey, if this was 50, 60 years ago or so, I wouldn't have been able to just hop on YouTube and say what I want freely. But I'm able to make videos now and create my own channel and express my thoughts. I'm able to have the freedom of doing what I want. I have the ability to go get jobs where I don't have to necessarily be under somebody or, have somebody just controlling me wholeheartedly, where I got to sit down and beg the white man, hey, can I please do this? Can you please give me a job? I can create my own lanes and my own avenues if I choose to, which is what I'm doing with this channel, and it's what many people are doing nowadays. So Whoopi Goldberg doesn't understand that, because Whoopi Goldberg, to be on TV, she's kissing asses still. She looks at it as she has to make Master happy at the end of the day.
What's that now? I mean, you and I know, Tucker, we could come up.
If Whoopi Goldberg was really about all the shit that she's probably talking about on The View, I don't watch The View, but just judging by her demeanor and the energy that she put forth towards this lady, if Whoopi Goldberg was really about it, she would get off The View, which is ran and owned by white people. I mean, it for sure is. And she could just get off that, and she could create her own podcast or her own channel, and she could have all her crazy deranged bitches following her onto that platform, and she could speak her real truths, and she could say her real pro-black shit. But at the end of the day, she's playing the middle ground. She's not like Michele Tafoya, who's really giving it all up to pursue her, to go with what she believes is right. Whoopi Goldberg's not like that. Whoopi Goldberg's playing the game of, I'm going to say what's acceptable, because all this woke shit that she's saying on TV is acceptable. So she's going to say what's acceptable, what's politically correct in modern day, and she's going to go along with the get along, and she's going to say the things she's allowed to say on TV, and she's not going to say other things because it's too controversial or it's out of line, because she wants to remain on TV. She's not about it. She ain't about shit.
With a million examples. And it breaks my heart that my kids are being taught that skin color matters. And to me, if you want white people to step up, I was stepping up when I addressed the school and said, why are we having these picnics for families of color? Why are we separating our kids? If the world is integrated, let's continue that and have everyone find out what we all have in common, not just what we...
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get together and you want to hold hands and move forward and stuff, you can do that. Like me, like I'm not the type of guy who, if I get kicked out of a store, or if I don't get invited to a party, or if someone asks me to leave or whatever, then I don't, fine, cool, because I don't even want to be there. That's the type of person that I am. I'm not trying to fit in or trying to get a hug or trying to get acceptance from other demographics or groups. I have confidence in myself, and I have my own demographic and my own people. So I'm not tripping about what white people think about me, or what white people like or don't like about me, or what, anybody has to say about what I have going on, because I have confidence in what I do. And that's the problem with people, is people are just sheep.
We have in common with people who look like us.
Man, I bet you $20 that 95% of Americans agree with what you just said. And
I don't know if it's 95% of Americans, but there is a silent majority that's just growing and growing in this country, where it's almost like the minority are the people who are being really loud and on the super duper woke shit. I can't even say the minority, but a good segment of the people are just being really loud. And then it's the people who really feel a way about all this change and all this bullshit that's going on, but they're not going to spew anything about it because they don't want to be, looked at as an outcast. They don't want to be made to be humiliated. But I don't give a fuck.
But to say that when you work at NBC Sports or any big media company really takes, you must have known that you would be attacked for defending the American ideal as you did. Why did you do that?
Because I don't...
She's a strong woman.
Care if I'm attacked. I really am not afraid of that. And I guess I feel like so many people now are afraid.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
When you've had a successful career for over 30 years with NBC like she has, she probably feels like she accomplished what she needs to accomplish. She's a mother of two, and, she's just ready to speak her truth and do her thing. So there's nothing that could really stop her.
Listen, I know there are repercussions for whatever I choose to say. And I've talked to my kids' school about it. Please don't hold this against my kids. I'm speaking for me. I'm speaking for my family. But please don't hold this against my kids. But this is what I really believe. I think I speak for...
And it's unfortunate that she has to have that conversation with the people at her kids' school, because she goes against the groupthink or the woke mob. because she has a different opinion. She has to go tap in and make sure that her kids aren't going to be treated any differently because of it. It's like, man, if you're not like super left, if you're not woke, if you're not in alignment with all these things, it's like there's just a target on your back, and everybody knows it.
For a lot of people, like you said, Tucker, and a lot of these people, my friends, are afraid to repost things that I've posted or, get into political conversations. They are, and they've said it, I'm afraid. I don't want to get in these arguments with my friends, with my boss, with my colleagues.
Well, that's two things. Sometimes people just don't care enough and they don't have the energy to be dealing with that shit and they'd rather keep to themselves. And sometimes they're just cowards and they want to play both sides of the fence. And two can't walk unless they be in agreement. So at the end of the day, if you're on that side and you're on this side, you're on that side. You're either right or you're either with the right side or you're with the wrong. You can't be playing both.
This is the most terrifying thing in the world to me right now, that people are afraid to talk. These are words coming out of our mouths. Yeah,
Yes.
we could probably hurt people with our words. I acknowledge that. But I get to choose my reaction to everybody's words. And everybody else gets to choose their reaction to my words. So they can choose to react to what I say.
Facts. But the thing is, they don't want you to think like that. They're trying to eliminate that process of thinking. And for anybody who's gone to college in the past few years, you know that all these institutions, and I'm talking about in America, I don't know what it's like in other places, but American colleges, American universities, if you've been there in the past few years, you know that all the examples that they're using, they're making fun of Trump when they're having random lectures. Your professor is going out his way to show you that he's super liberal, or he's going out of his way to use examples that push certain agendas, because that's what they want you to think. That's part of the job nowadays at these colleges and institutions. It's to program you to behave a certain way. It's to program you to fit into a certain element for how they want human beings to behave in our society going forward. They're social engineering people, point blank.
I'm going to choose to say what I believe and what I feel very strongly about. And I'm going to continue this. And this is the direction I'm headed.
I just love it so much, and I think personal bravery, like the kind that you have displayed and are displaying now, is deeply inspiring to people and comforting, and really is the answer to where we are. So thank you for what you're doing.
I hope people will join me. I hope people will join me, Tuck.
Well, not many people will, because like I said at the start of the video, the truth is a lonely avenue. So this was an interesting segment. More power to her. Wish her the best on that journey. I'm interested to see where it goes from here. So peace.